Yeah, I'll have a large extra butter popcorn, and she'll have snow caps. Really? Snow caps? They taste like cardboard. Okay.
Come along, it's time for you to listen to this review from DC to MCU. It's time for Rundown Reviews. Rundown Reviews. Rundown Reviews.
Here's the thing.
You know, I stayed awake for it this time, so I'm proud of myself.
Yeah, it also took you and me 4.5 hours to watch this fucking movie.
Oh,
yeah, that's fair.
Oh wow, we cracking cold boys today?
I'm doing a
You bet.
Mountain Dew hard Mountain Dew Baja Blast because fuck this movie.
Hey, that's
Wow.
Ryan or whatever.
Mine's a
Ron,
Ryan
you drunk
guy.
yet?
Ryan.
Are you already
Oh no,
drunk?
this is only my third beer today. I had 2 of them at D&D, and then I took a break.
Do you think you'll be drunk by the end of the show?
If I walk away from here to go to the fridge to get more beer, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm only drinking the
I have
one.
the last bit of this. I have the last one of this set here, and then we'll see.
All right. I'm just curious. Thank you for letting me know. I got notes today.
Did you want to get drunk?
Boy.
No.
Oh, okay.
But brothers, sisters, gender resistors, if you want to get drunk, we encourage it. Even if you're listening to this at the time that it drops, which is Friday mornings. Welcome to the only podcast on planet Goddang Earth. Actually, that's not true. A lot of podcasts have complained about this movie, but regardless, welcome.
when
I
it came
know
out.
one podcast that doesn't exist anymore that I may or may not have been the host of that talked about it.
Welcome to what will be. I'm not sure where Ron is, but 2 very angry men and one guy who thought, I don't think this was as bad as everybody thought it was.
Really? Interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
I got some feelings on it. Listen,
I like that you don't know where I'm sitting with this because I feel like I've been pretty vocal about it, but no, it's cool.
all you ever did was fall asleep through it. Oh, I
Exactly.
don't remember. Yeah, but that doesn't do anything with you. You know what I mean? Like that, you fall asleep during good movies too. So it just depends
Like
on
what
what
movie?
you are. I don't know, man. That was a lot of concussions ago. Who knows? That's a lot of late shoots. You know what I
You
mean?
got to move the chair away from the desk before you start sucking dick, Chuck. You won't get so many concussions.
No, see, that's what everyone thinks. No, it was backyard wrestling. Okay, you just take
Oh,
unprotected chair shots and light tubes to the head long enough. You breathe in that mercury. You know.
oh, so you're sterile.
Anyway,
This is how he
welcome
gets his superpowers.
yeah, welcome to the Comic Book Rundown presents Rundown Reviews. I am your impartial host, Chuck. We got Jordan, one last ride. Skywalker here.
For now, I feel like we might get you back in the next year.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Finish what you're gonna say, Chuck, and then I want to chime in with
Oh,
something.
and Ron and Joe are here. Go
Hi,
ahead.
y'all.
Naturally.
Actually, okay. So 2 things before we talk Star Wars that I want to mention. As of recording, you just released the T2 Judgment Day episode.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes, we
I
did.
wasn't able to be on that one. But I want to throw my rating in the ring for it.
Hold on. Let me. pull
Why
up
you
the
want to
thing.
knock it down, you fucking dick? Because it was scored so high.
I would have given it a 9.28 because
Ooh,
I love
okay,
that movie
okay.
too.
Hell yeah.
I am a huge Terminator fan. It's probably my favorite in all the Terminator movies. I like things like Salvation and Rise of Machines.
I like some
Not so
shit,
much
too.
Genesis, but like I guess I'm a Terminator shill. I love the Sarah Connor Chronicles, all of that.
I still
So
need
this-
to finish that. I never did.
Was
man,
Genesis
never started
the
it.
one where it was like nano skin, right? And it was like clinging to humans at that point.
Genesis was? Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
it was-
I've only done it once, so
Yeah,
I've
it
never
was not
seen.
good.
I've never seen anything but the first 2. So
Yeah, it was not good, but the reason Sarah Connor Chronicles why I liked it so much is because Summer Glau, who also is a main character of Firefly, was a Terminator in that TV show. So I mean,
Yes.
that just hits all my nerd bones in the right places.
yeah, I really liked her.
I mean, that she could
So,
definitely get a bone in the right
uh,
place.
Yeah, you know it. So I want to just mention that. So if you want to add mine to the mix there to bring it up to number 1, hopefully, maybe you can. Although I love Trick or Treat as well, so I'm good with that sitting at the number 1 spot.
Okay, so with that score, It drops it in. It's gives us a 8.74, which will drop it in at. Hold on, got pulled up.
It like didn't change it at all. It's still number
Well,
3.
it moved shortly. I gotta get rid of all those. Okay. Sorry, all my porn just kind of popped up. That's not true.
Happens to me at work all the time. It really fucking
it's
sucks.
Still number 2 because Trick or Treat is a 9.16. So it didn't move anywhere.
I thought it was number 3 before. Oh wait, you guys did an episode where Chuck probably bombed.
Yep, he didn't bomb. No, he didn't bomb Batman Beyond, but he gave it a score, and because it was 4 people versus 3 people, that moved it.
Well, anyway,
So,
that's my take on that.
alright.
The other thing I wanted to mention, Chuck, is Elite 8 Showdown. The magic is still there, so I don't know what you're talking about. I
haven't
laughed.
And it's a
more
lot
at the
different when
podcast
we're
than-
recording it. And like it felt weird and clunky. I don't know because he definitely doesn't edit anything.
It did
So
not feel clunky at all. It felt perfect.
It felt normal.
Like it was before.
the last
Yeah, it
episode,
felt-
normal.
the latest episode on
Going back
Patreon
and
was.
listening-
I'll say that.
All right, look, I've only been able to listen to the first 2 episodes because I'm not paying for Patreon
I
anymore.
understand that.
what was the Patreon one?
The
third episode.
Worst person you want a one night or a quickie with or whatever.
Oh fuck! Yeah, okay, I haven't listened to that one yet. That makes sense. I forgot about that.
But
oh shit!
Spoiler alert for anybody that hasn't listened to it. But Tim's middle name in the first episode.
Yeah.
Oh,
Direct
yes.
reference to this show. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
thanks.
great,
Uh-huh.
so great. So anyway,
Anyway,
I just wanted
sorry.
you to know the magic's still there.
Yeah, it's thank you. It's not going to bring the show back, but thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah,
Well, no, what's going to bring the show back is listening to
network?
it. So I'm not going to. Well, maybe.
If I start,
Yeah,
my
if
new
it can
network,
listen,
we-
if it can get 4 million downloads specifically in India, I'll bring it back. All right, because that's where our face was originally. So
so funny.
anyway, now that we are 6 minutes 40 seconds into this show, welcome to Comic Book Represents Right Now Reviews. Look, we watched Rise of Skywalker.
The Rise of Skywalker episode.
The
9,
Rise of Skywalker, the last of the trilogy of the new wave.
the last of the Skywalker saga.
The last of the
until
trilogy
they,
of trilogies.
until they decide to make another. Joe.
Well, they
it's-
are making. So they have already announced they're making a new Rey movie, like a Rey centric movie. They've announced that they're going to be making more, like another trilogy.
Are we getting Poe a Star Wars story like we got Solo a Star Wars story?
Maybe, I don't know. Although I've got some beef with Poe because they changed his backstory from the comics that they put out into this movie. In the comics, he was basically raised as part of the rebellion and was a fighter pilot his whole entire life. Whereas in this movie, he apparently ran spice for a time.
Solo.
I mean, he could have. He
had the same outfit.
Like, he could have just been trying to get a little money on the side while fighting for the resistance. You know,
I'm pretty sure his parents, who were pretty awesome in the comics, would have been against that. Now, maybe they were already dead. Who knows?
we all rebel at some point. Some of
Yeah.
us run spice.
Yeah, maybe.
Isn't Spice from fucking Dune?
No, Spice, yes, but Spice
Yes.
is in here too. 'Cause
It's one of the many things George Lucas stole from other
Yeah.
stories.
Oh, that's very Warhammer 40k of him, but okay.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, look, I feel like this is not my place to start, nor do I really have a lot of commentary.
All right, I'm going to start.
I'm gonna
I'm gonna
sit back, let you 3 apparently scream a bunch, and I'm gonna then come in occasionally.
Who
Yeah, my
pages?
notes.
Joey has
my notes
900
are-
pages of notes. I do have 1 page of note.
Oh,
And I will
Chuck
be
took
tracking my
notes?
notes. Yeah, I'll be tracking my notes as I go. Okay.
I
So Ron, you have the floor. Scream away.
so this is all I'm going to say is I read the scroll at the beginning of the movie, paused it so I could go to the store and get beer.
Mm-hmm.
here. Okay, so let's start with the scroll. The whole point of the very first line, the dead speak. It starts because the Emperor is back. Do you remember, Jordan? I'm sure you do. Do you remember how the world found out outside of, how the universe found out outside of actually being shown the trailer at Chicago seat or the
Star Wars Celebration.
thank you, which I was there. That was awesome. The world found out because they announced it in Fortnite. They announced the Emperor was back for Star Wars in Fortnite.
Welcome to our world now.
That's how the world found out. That's how the world found out that the Emperor was back. That was the message. Why? Yes, and you are right. Like, this is definitely they tried to get the new generation, whom I'm pretty sure was already going to see this movie, but they're trying to include all avenues of
This
mediums
is
to
the
try and get
prime
them.
example of the line that is spoken all the time that George Lucas originally said that these movies are meant for children. So announcements will come out on children platforms. And yes, if you play Fortnite, you are a child. So I'm
mean,
sorry.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that.
I mean, my kids play Fortnite, so yeah, there you go.
Do any of us fully grown adults who have seen female genitalia play Fortnite? No, we have not.
I attempted to play Fortnite one time. I played it, and I'm like, wow, this is dumb. And then
Yeah,
I didn't play it.
I think I took
Exactly.
my daughter's game at one point to like mess with her, just like mess
Well,
up
when I
the
first
game.
got my Switch, it was
hilarious.
free. When I first got my
So-
Switch, it was free to download,
I
so I
remember that,
downloaded it, and I played 2 battles in it. The first one, I had no idea what the fuck was going on, and like I got swallowed up by some kind of storm cloud. And then the second one, I got 3rd place in, and I'm just like, wow, this is a sad game, and I'm done.
Yeah, it's pretty much the craps of games, right? You just
I
are
don't know about
throwing
crap. Like,
things
I mean,
out
it's obviously stupid popular. Like, it has.
Yeah.
I don't want to say a following, but it has enough people to go
It has
play
a
it. So
following. I would argue it has a following.
okay.
It
So
has a
I
huge following.
understand why they put it there.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. I feel like they realized, okay, all of us at this age, we're the ones tuning in to Star Wars Celebration. We're keeping up on all the trailers, all of that. So that's where they're going to get us, right? They're going to have Ian McDermott come out on the stage afterward and be like, roll that again. And we're all hyped for
Okay,
it,
which is
kind of
obviously
hoping it's
awesome.
going to go well.
Yeah.
But they know that the kids, they're not going to go pay attention to that. How are they going to get them? They got their noses in their video games. So they're like, let's go to where they're at. And
What's
I
that,
really think it
Grandpa?
no, seriously, I really think it was a bunch
right.
of like 55-year-old men or 60-year-old men in a boardroom deciding this marketing plan. I really think that's what it was. And that's the only reason it happened.
No, it was probably like 3 20-year-olds figuring it out. But Joey, if I could put in perspective for you, which I'm probably going to do a lot this
That's
episode.
fine.
This is the Dick Tracy action figure equivalent of reveals. This happened all the time. Toys would
Yeah, it
reveal
still
the
does.
endings or spoilers or surprises all the time.
I mean, the
Except
pop
for
figure.
nobody buys toys anymore. Now
Sure.
it's video game stuff. Like
I
that's
was gonna say the pop figure actually revealed who a character was before she was revealed in Agatha All Along.
happens all the time.
So
Funko was like notorious for that, of
Yeah.
just like fucking ruining everything. Yep.
So here's
Aubrey Plaza can get it. Just saying.
I want to know, because let's talk about the Palpatine elephant in the room, right? Like
the Snoke factory, or like the fact that he's still alive, or alive.
Let's talk about all of it, because there's a lot of different elements here. We're gonna pull a Shrek now. We got to pull back all the layers of the onion. The first thing is, I don't mind the idea about Snoke being a clone that the Emperor is trying to create to put his essence in, because that follows kind of the Dark Empire trilogy a little bit, which was a very good graphic novel after the original trilogy had completed. I totally think. My problem is that not until Mandalorian were we ever clued in on this, except for a tiny line of exposition and a shot of like Snoke in a tube. Like, this was never a thing that was alluded to, that was even seemingly laid the foundation for. And this is where I have a problem. I don't mind Palpatine coming back. I don't mind Snoke being a clone. I don't mind any of this stuff. If that was the idea from the beginning and they started planning from day one, they did not do this. This is the most retconned feeling thing I have ever felt in my life.
Well, ever since I saw this movie, I have been saying, and I don't think I'm the only one, Rise of Skywalker is, they just saw Last Jedi and like, we don't like that. Let's redo that in the first hour of this movie, and then the last hour and a half will be
So,
our new thing.
I do have a couple notes on that because they actually did kind of follow a bit of what they were doing with Force Awakens and
Jedi?
The Last Jedi, because The Force Awakens was just a reskinned New Hope.
Sure.
Mhm.
The
Mhm.
Last Jedi was kind of a reskinned Empire Strikes Back.
We talked about that last
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
This had a lot of elements of a reskinned Return of the Jedi.
Well, yeah,
You
because,
had
like, you're-
her watching all of the people getting shot down because of the Emperor's evil plan coming to fruition with nobody finding out about it.
he even opens the thing like he does.
Yeah,
in Return of the Jedi.
exactly.
Go look at your
Exactly.
friends.
You've got, the Force user coming back to save the day. You've got Palpatine as the bad guy.
Yeah,
Because
well, that
you
never
really
ends.
have Patine saying "join me," and we can take it.
No,
we
not
can
even
take
join me.
over.
It's kill me, and I will take
Mhm.
over your body, and then
Yeah,
be
well,
you.
it's, I mean,
He's
it's
literally
the
going to
same
possess
thing.
her. It's so
Look, it's really fucked up when a grandpa wants to be inside of his granddaughter that bad.
Yes.
Sadly, those videos exist though.
Yeah.
God damn it, Joey.
Yeah, wait,
Here's the-
Joey, you opened earlier.
Yeah, that's why he had to close it real fast. The
Oh, yeah,
only
closing
thing
something.
I will say that I felt like was alluded to in the first two movies that actually paid off in this one, and I think they just stumbled into it. I don't think it was actually intentional.
The
was the dyad.
thruple of
Yeah, I think the dyad between Kylo Ren and Rey worked, but I think that was just a happy accident. I don't think they ever meant for it to pan out in that way when they did Last Jedi.
I thought you were talking about the thruple between Finn, Poe, and Rey.
Oh, I mean, that was fun to finally get the three of them. Now, here's the thing. I'm not saying there aren't elements that are fun here. I just felt like they were like setting up for this grand slam, amazing thing in Last Jedi, and then they just like bunted it. And they're like, well, we got the first base. Oh, well, like at least we got to a base. I'm like, ugh.
One thing my girlfriend pointed out, if Last Jedi was a movie all about failure, which I believe we all kind of somewhat agree to that, this movie is definitely a movie about convenience. Like everything is conveniently where it needs to be for the right moment, and it is it's annoying, really annoying.
Okay,
Yeah,
There's
like
I
plot holes in
don't
this movie,
disagree with
too.
you.
the fact that the X-wing at the end functions at all is just bullshit. Also, since when could Force ghosts interact with things and use the Force still?
When the plot generator calls for it.
Convenient.
I want to know what Chuck
Oh,
has to say.
speaking of, yeah. I'll just before we leave Force Ghost Luke real quick. Fun little thing. We never actually see his right arm, so we never actually know if he's got a Force robot hand, which is kind of fun. Anyway, so what are you gonna say?
Well, wouldn't he get the arm back because Anakin?
He should, but we never
comes
see it.
back as a ghost. You know what I mean?
Sure.
What was my point? Oh, right. My point was like, this was all convenient, the movie, everything being in its place. But I feel like sometimes we take that for granted because we've watched now at this point we've watched long-term storytelling happen, right?
Sure.
And they're really good about doing that. And I don't disagree with you that it wasn't just one convenient situation just happily happening to push the next plot. But I think a lot of the time movies do that. We just have been slamming ourselves with like long-term storytelling, and now we're at a point where they're trying to rush it, so it feels even worse.
Okay.
So I don't
fair because we do have 8 movies leading up. Well, actually, we had 11 movies leading up to this.
No, it's 8 because you've got I guess 9 Clone Wars, Solo, and Rogue One. Well, okay,
they still lead into it.
They do lead into it technically, in a way. Solo not so much, but.
So I want to know each one of you first.
I'm Joe.
I'm Ron.
Where you feel about the Palpatine thing? Wait, what was that? Didn't even hear that. I'm gonna skip right by that. So first, how we all feel about Palpatine as it's relayed in the story, but then second, how we feel about Palpatine coming back if they had done it in a different manner.
Okay.
So much like Luke's lightsaber and much like a lot of other things, things randomly appearing when they should be never existing anymore. Like, you can't tell me Palpatine lived through being electrocuted and flying over the edge of that and being shunted into space, because that's where it would have sent him.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get it that Leia did her little Superman and got back into the ship, but the Death Star exploded shortly after that.
But we also see the remains of the Death Star on the water moon planet.
Now, would we have liked it better if Palpatine was like a weird, like living on the back of someone's head, a la Voldemort in Sorcerer's Stone?
No, but if it would have just been like the Sith equivalent of a Force ghost, and then he was trying to possess her,
that would have been great.
I'd have been down for that, because that would have made sense. Like, that would have been like, oh, he figured out the Sith equivalent of, being one with the Force by.
And then Snoke wouldn't have had to been a clone. Snoke could have been a body that he was possessing.
And that's why when Snoke gets killed in the whichever fucking, I can't remember what the hell it's called. These were anyways.
Anyway,
was that on the Rise of Skywalker? No, that's
Last Jedi.
Rise of Skywalker.
Literally the last
Jedi
movie.
Anyways, sorry, but then it would have made sense, because then he would have went back to one of the test tubes and been born again into one of those things, and then we could have had like another
Rick and Morty thing.
Yeah,
but it still would have made more sense than Palpatine being a puppet on the end of a fucking mechanical arm. Yeah.
Okay.
Keep him alive.
So
I'm okay with Palpatine being here, given the story we have. Again, I will reiterate that the Duel of the Fates script is out there. There is a podcast about it. I actually just found over the other day that somebody took the script and made a fan-made comic on it, and is on their website, which that website is Weingarner.com.
Could you spell that?
WINEGARNER.com.
GARNER.
Yep.
Garner. Gotcha.
Andrew Weingarner is his name. He drew and took the script, put it into a comic, a fan-made comic. I haven't read it yet, but like I'm definitely going to, because I want to. But I understand in that one, Palpatine's not there. But that one is a more direct sequel to Last Jedi, and what was, continuing on that story. This one, it bugged me from the beginning, the story that was being told. Rey's dialogue with Leia wasn't great the entire time.
Dude, all the dialogue in this was so dry and so just like without
that
emotion or.
Yeah, so there's all that. But getting to the point of Palpatine, the Palpatine makes sense with the story that they told in this movie. The fact that it was hidden as much, I agree with you, Jordan. If they had laid the seed early on, I would have been fine. Especially, and then when Kylo sees Palpatine and he's walking on Exegol, and we see the tube of Snoke, like immediately when I first saw it in theaters, I'm like, oh, so yeah, Snoke was a clone. This all makes sense now. Rewatching it here, it actually, like, paying attention, it actually really doesn't explain anything.
Mm-mm.
Like, yes, he says that he was the voice in his head, and he does the Snoke voice, he does the Vader voice. I think he even does his father's voice. I'm not entirely sure. But like, okay, so maybe he was the clone. But okay, that's all fine and dandy. But then the entire movie, he's telling Kylo he needs to kill Rey. Rey cannot become the final Jedi. And then when Kylo reverts back to being Ben, immediately Palpatine's like, I knew you'd survive, right? I wanted you to come here because I needed you to become the next Sith.
I wasn't trying to kill you. I wasn't trying to kill you. I was trying to get you here. This has all been part of my super duper duper secret super plan.
That's classic Palpatine, though. We all got to remember he's originally a politician, so obviously he's going to change the narrative to fit what's going on.
Sure,
That's
but
fair.
but that's the thing. He's telling Kylo, "Hey, kill her," and then we find out Ochi was sent to pick her up and bring her back. And then it's like,
Because
"Yes, I've always
he
wanted you to
never
bring her
wanted
back."
He never wanted Ray dead. And in fact, he even said, "Oh, my plan has gone perfectly." He wanted Kylo to go after Ray, so Ray would kill Kylo, and then Ray would go find him, and then she would become the Sith. And when he found out that she wouldn't do that, then he's like, "Okay, I guess I'll take Kylo then." That's how I thought it.
Dude, I will say this though:
It's so
Sith
convoluted.
Ray looked fucking hot.
Oh
Sith
yeah,
Ray was pretty.
and her
Darth Ray
lightsaber
was
was
awesome.
so cool.
Yeah, right. The
It was like a switchblade. It was so
Dude,
cool.
but speaking of lightsabers, so her lightsaber is made out of the tip of her spear, right?
at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Why wasn't it just still mounted to the spear and then you have a lightsaber naginata? Like that would have been cool as shit.
Would have been cool. I will say though, the fact that she had like one of those click-ons, like a slide turn
That
on,
was-
I'm like,
I
oh,
do-
that's awesome. All
like, if-
lightsabers should be that way.
if her saber ever becomes into Galaxy's Edge,
Mhm.
I'm getting that saber.
Oh,
That
I'm getting
saber's
that one too.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was
Looks
cool
so
as shit.
cool. Okay, so
Um,
Chuck.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so I didn't have a problem with it. I think that it needed to be fixed in dialogue, which is simply I was I've only ever had clones. That I am a master puppeteer. I am a master of deception and I'm forever intricately working. We've established that from the beginning, clones exist. From episode 2, that clones exist. And the idea that he would not have been cloning himself the entire time, especially when he realized kind of his own mortality, and like you say, the politician, he absolutely is going to have body doubles. So the thing that the one that dies on the Death Star is a body double.
I did okay with that too.
Yeah,
if
I would
that
have
had
been
been
fine with that.
revealed. That would have been fine too. Yeah.
That would have been totally fine to be like, yeah, he was my like Padme had her body double die and all that. It's like I would have been
And it could have been like that was my first, successful clone.
Yeah, I
But
think
we
that there
also-
would have been a really interesting parallel of like man becoming machine and then man still being man but voiding it till he has to become machine. I almost like the idea of him being like he's always been on the machine, and then they moved this lab to the fallen Death Star not because it's fallen and it's destroyed and it's this remnants and they're building this cult, but like it is the symbol. Like this is the symbol from the ashes are gonna rise like a phoenix, and that's what we're establishing here. And also, nobody's gonna come fucking looking for us.
Yeah,
you
I
know?
love that idea that like Palpatine this whole time has been the eye of Sauron, pulling the strings. Like he's not even an embodiment, but he's doing everything. And yeah, that would have been way cooler.
Yeah, he is literally Vader is supposed to be in this. He's an idea,
Yeah.
And even what I would have liked, one that's even strapped up, not even the real him. Like they reveal at the end, movie spits out, and you hear a laugh, and it's still not the real one.
Like he's just
I never
always
really
there.
know where it is. Maybe he is dead and just on the other side now, and he's a spirit. And you can do another 3 movies of
Yeah.
him being a ghost.
Yeah. I mean, I love Ian McDermott. And if they would have done something like that, I would have been totally on board for more Palpatine. It just felt so out of left field the way they did it in this. Just the fact that he's like somehow Palpatine returned. I'm like, wow, the laziest writing.
Allegedly,
That's what mine says.
Ian-
Palpatine's back, lazy writing.
Ian McDermott, he wasn't. Is it McDermott? No,
Yeah, it's Ian McDermott, I think, right?
Palpatine. Whatever, Palpatine. He allegedly wasn't gonna come back, but Disney was like, "Here's a bunch of money.
Yes.
We need you back." They're like, "Okay."
Money speaks. Money speaks.
Pretty
definitely.
Speaking of people in this movie, though, I completely forgot that Mary was in this movie.
Mary.
Brandy Buck.
Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently that was due to a bet that him and J.J. Abrams had. They did a friendly bet on like a soccer game.
Soccer game or something.
And if the one team won, then Abrams had to put him in the movie.
Nice.
That's why he felt so just like, why are you here?
Right?
It was okay. When I first saw it go past him, I'm like, no way. Was that really? I had to rewind it. And then I had to go back to the credits to make sure it wasn't just somebody that looked a lot like him with the big goofy ears, and
Yeah. Because so you never saw this in theaters, right, Ron?
Correct.
Okay. Jordan, obviously you did. I said I did.
Mhm.
Chuck, did
This
you?
is the first time I've watched it all the way through.
I thought I remember you. It's been a minute since you watched it and you fell asleep. Chuck, did you watch this in theaters?
I did. I saw it. I think the week after it opened. something
Okay.
like that.
Did anyone else get a headache during the Exegol scenes in a giant theater? Those flashing lights, man, they gave me such a headache.
Oh yeah,
In
this
my-
is a
at
this
my
is an
house,
epilepsy nightmare.
It gave me a fucking headache.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's
this
brutal.
was the first movie where they actually put out on like theaters actually put a thing out saying there are moments of flashing lights. Like if you are prone to this, because I think there was another movie that like they did this initially. There was another movie that came out maybe a couple years prior. I can't remember what it was. Where
Chapter 2.
No,
I know that they had to do it for that.
Yes, but I think Chapter 2 came out after this. I was saying there was a movie that came out before Rise of Skywalker that they put that note in theaters after the movie was released, and fans, people that saw it, complain about it. So they're like, "Oh crap, okay, fix it." Sorry.
Yeah, I just remember being like, God, I had to like shut my eyes a few times when I was in the theater. I'm like, I cannot, like, can we stop with the lightning?
Yeah. It didn't bother me this time, but I also wasn't paying as much attention because
No,
I was taking notes.
I watched it on my
Two
iPad
things.
this time, so it was totally fine.
I mean, I was taking breaks. So
Okay, so
yeah, go for it, Ron.
okay, so Exegol, right? Is this place where you can't find it without a Sith Wayfinder, right?
yes.
Okay, but they were able to get enough people to operate all those fucking Star Destroyers.
Those were the natives that live on Exegol, though. Like all that cultist group that was all there that helped with it. Those are supposed to be like have been there with them this whole time.
Yeah, they have a path to the universe from Exegol because they're on Exegol.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, where did they get all the pilots and all the? Because it shows them, and they are like.
Okay, so that sadly, that's explained in the books.
Chuck,
Of
you want to
course.
handle that one? Oh.
We don't read here, I know. But no, in the Aftermath trilogy, the Battle of Jakku was the final battle of the Empire, and the remains of the Empire then went into the unknown regions into Exegol to build the Final Order. Yes, well, actually, I think to build the First Order. The First Order came out from that. We heard that in Force Awakens, that the First Order rose from the remnants of the Empire. But like that had split, factions had split. The Final Order, First Order stayed here, while the Emperor built the Final Order in Exegol.
If you couldn't think of anything more Nazi, Final Order, I'm just like, wow, it's the most Nazi sounding thing ever. Good job on them. For
Disney really
that,
wants you to know they're not Nazis. Okay.
Yes, I know. It's ridiculous. Also, like, so another moment of convenience, like you were saying, Joe, like, so they were just like, so Domhnall Gleeson's character, what do we want to do with him? I don't know. Just get rid of him somehow. It's so dumb.
Oh, but you gotta make him a spy first.
Yeah, make him a spy first, and then like have that amount to nothing. It felt weird. Like I was like, okay, I like that motivation. He doesn't care about the resistance. He cares about getting rid of Kylo.
No, that's a stupid reasoning. Oh, I'm going to betray everything I grew up on, everything I live for, because I don't want Kylo Ren to win.
I know.
But in his defense, as far as that guy goes, like Kylo had been shitting on him throughout the other two movies, like the whole time.
Okay,
still shitting on him in this movie.
It could have been fixed with one piece of dialogue, which was, "Look, Kylo is gonna fuck my system up. Like he is going to directly fuck up the First Order,
It's
and
for
I
the
can
greater
see
good.
I need to get rid
The
of it, but I
greater
need
good.
to do it.
I like that. That's good.
Because
I like that.
If I do it, then I'm a traitor. Like that's just military politics 101. But they don't say that. They're just like, he's just like, oh, I'm just a spy. And I was
Because
just
they
like,
spend all their time on exposition that doesn't matter and don't spend any time on
Uh-huh.
exposition that does matter.
yeah, I was just like, I literally was
Like
just
him
that,
getting his helmet
that
fixed.
that dude was jerking off when they were blowing up planets. What are you
Right?
talking about? You're not a spy for the sake of the resistance.
No,
No.
you
Yeah.
just you don't want Kylo to win. Like no.
Yeah, it's
And his
it's
helmet.
too much.
I got a problem with the helmet too, but
I
Sure,
felt
Chuck.
like a lot of the time they were just like, we're gonna put this in here and they're gonna figure it out. We don't have
Yes.
to explain it to them. Which is not how you write dialogue in movies.
Mm-mm.
no.
Like,
Correct.
that's-
I'm
you have to tell people what they want.
I've come to Star Wars and I give a lot of leeway.
Really?
Mainly
Have you?
because a lot of it is
Yeah, we
like,
know the body
filled
count. Joe.
in. A lot of it is filled in the comics, in the books, in the video games. This one,
Which is
terrible. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah. Where were we start? Where did we get? Where were we at?
so.
Um,
Kylo Ren's helmet
The helmet.
being Okay, so first off, is that Darwin from Planet of the Apes? That's Rise of the Planet of the Apes. That's reforging his helmet,
I had to
Sure.
rewind because I'm like, is that a chimpanzee? What is this? What are we
right?
doing?
I don't.
But
I
like,
don't know.
what's? I don't understand the symbology there.
No,
So that is the legit thing, Jordan. If you want
yes. So is it called Sinyaki? I forget.
something,
Something like that. It's Japanese, and it's
Oh,
literally.
you're talking about using the gold to put
Yep.
things
Yes,
back
it's
together.
been around for thousands of
Yeah,
years,
so-
which I like that being like
It's
a thing
cool.
they brought in. I thought that
yeah,
was
no, it's really cool. Here's my problem with it. He held on to his broken helmet for 3 years
Years, yeah.
and just let it sit there. Which
How long has he had
did
his grandpa's helmet?
that? Sure, but also the helmet was on Snoke's ship, which was being destroyed, and he
Mhm.
immediately left that ship to go chase after the Resistance, and that ship. Like, how did he just? Oh, I need to go find.
Same
my
way they
helmet.
got Luke's lightsaber.
Now
Yeah.
that one.
Yeah, it was a cool visual, but you're right, it doesn't make sense. Like when you think
Yeah,
about
that's all I'm
where
saying is that the helmet thing
pieces
didn't make sense
come
at all.
from. Well, let's talk about all the things that don't make sense here. So TIE fighters now have light speed, and then not only do they have light speed, but they can follow Millennium Falcon light speed jumping, which is now a thing apparently.
Light speed skipping, while it is cool, while the execution is awesome, it's not practical. That would destroy the ship constantly.
And the guys will
now
not be able to follow him.
the TIE fighters, they do have short range. They used to have short range capabilities, but we're also dealing with the First Order now, so maybe they are able to.
There's no
I mean,
way
their
they invested.
their fucking Star Destroyers have Death Star rays on them. So
yeah,
I mean,
but that's the
Yeah,
final
but
order.
I just don't think there's.
I guess
any
that's
way
true.
That these are the TIE fighters. They're not even TIE interceptors. I could understand a TIE interceptor or a bomber, but they're just a regular TIE fighter. These are the dog fighters. They don't care. These are the
Correct.
guys that are going out there that are going to be cannon fodder. That's what they're not putting. I don't buy it. I don't buy it on just
No, I don't-
unless they're like, hey, that's the 501st
I
or
agree.
whatever. I'm like, maybe, but they don't say that.
Yeah, but also them tracking them through light speed. I mean, we know that happens because of Last Jedi. So like that's fine,
Yeah,
but I agree
There's no way. There's no way they have it.
on
on
the TIE
TIE
fighters. Yeah,
fighters.
I get that. Again, unless
way.
but it has been some time. It has been maybe 3 years. So maybe they did put it in the TIE fighters. But again,
Also,
that's a lot of TIE fighters. That's a lot of expensive equipment to put in these TIE fighters, which
Yeah.
will blow up like that.
there's no way a military would put that much money into those things.
No,
But
not in the pawns.
also, they just decided that C-3PO was going to be the joke guy this whole movie. Like, just every joke is going to come from C-3PO moving forward. Like, and also them being like, "Oh, we got to wipe your mind." Like, he's had his memory wiped before.
Thank you.
What?
So
this isn't the first
everything
time.
should be gone anyway.
Yeah,
He should
this
not
is
be
the
able to
first time.
read the Sith language.
Yeah, it made no sense. I'm like, why are we? This movie was wrought with times where they're like, hey, this character died, but actually they didn't because we got to keep them around to sell toys.
Like Chewie dying. I mean, it would have been a very big moment for Rey's character, and they took it away.
But you know what? It would have worked out better if Chewie had died. Because, and hear me out. No, hear me out. Luke is gone. Leia is gone. Han is gone. His family does not canonically exist.
Yeah, but Leia isn't gone when he was quote unquote killed.
True.
I am a proprietor of Chewie should have stayed dead. Like this should have been the end of Chewie.
Because then it would have been a closure for the original trilogy.
Well, it would have been a closure for the original trilogy, but also it gives Rey purpose for being fucking mad. That she so angry she can control her own power, and Kylo Ren didn't fucking help in that either. And like that would have pushed her to the brink, and she would have had to learn how to control that. And that could have been part of that like end piece.
I would have believed she could have turned to the dark side if she had actually killed Chewbacca and she just went like crazy with anger about it.
Yeah. And the story is now she had to overcome that. She has to control rage because the whole thing is that Kylo can't control his rage and she can. Mm-hmm. She doesn't really understand anger because she's never truly felt it. She's felt sadness and sorrow and abandonment, but she's never felt anger about something, because something truly tragic like losing a family member, having a family member, then losing it, like she has in this way in this movie,
in all the movies.
Yeah, like she had, like we see it at the end where like Leia and Luke are like parents in this movie now.
Yeah, like if she's finally the catalyst for losing a family member, that would drive her almost to the dark side. It's exactly what with Anakin wanting so badly to save his unborn child and wife that he legitimately killed them in that effort. She would have had a very similar story arc in that way. Like she finally was able to stop one of her family members from dying. She couldn't save Han. She couldn't save Luke, but she could save Chewie. But she's the reason Chewie died. It would have paid off so much better.
Yeah. I do want to point out that at this moment, if you had any question of her lineage, having her do Force Lightning pretty much answers that one.
Yeah. Yeah, and also that's, I think my biggest thing with this movie is the fact that they made her a Palpatine. I think that's what irks me the most, is that they laid the groundwork for being like a nobody from nowhere who is a daughter to Junkers could be this powerful. And I love that sentiment.
Check out
daughter to a smoking hot Junker.
Anyway.
Dude, Jodie Comer is...
Yes, we talked about the last episode.
Listen,
the person who played her dad for the split
second... No, Ray's mom.
No, I'm talking about who played Ray's dad. The second he came on screen, the first time I saw it, I thought it was Tom Hardy. Because he looked like Tom Hardy. And then I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Okay, so can I tell you my favorite thing in this movie? Which is, if this is my favorite thing in the movie, what are we doing here? But the callback they did where they were going into the detention center to get Chewie and they shoot out the cameras like they do in A New Hope. That, for some reason, I was like, oh, that made me feel very nostalgic. And I loved it.
My favorite thing in this movie? Jetpack Stormtroopers.
Oh, yeah. They got
fucking
jetpack.
Dope as shit.
They fly now.
Yeah, the whole idea of like, oh, they fly now? They've been flying since the Clone Wars.
Yeah, they totally have.
Jetpack Clone Wars was not insane.
No.
True. But Stormtroopers.
Yeah, they had the original trilogy never had any of them have jetpacks.
But I believe that they probably had some who did. We just never saw them on screen.
Hold on now. Hold on now. If you played the game, this is my equivalent of your edition. Played the games, you would know. In Battlefront 2, Empire had jetpack guys.
Fair. Okay.
The Stormtrooper jetpack guys.
I haven't played that game in some
time.
They
sucked and they were not good.
That's probably why I never used them.
Okay.
But speaking of shooting...
just to say, the original trilogy, the only person who had a jetpack was Boba Fett, and they had to keep that one because otherwise he wasn't fucking cool. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
True.
What's the point, though?
But he also wasn't he wasn't a Stormtrooper. He was a Mandalorian.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. Like, technically they were all. At this point, who knows who?
Well, the clone troopers were, but stormtroopers weren't.
Right.
Yeah, are you Mandalorian?
We don't know. We don't know how many were left. We don't know how many were left.
They killed. Watch Rebels. They got rid of all the clones and brought in regular Joes.
Joey, not gonna watch additional content.
Actually, no,
Over
watch
this.
Rebels. And
Rebels is
actually,
pretty
no,
good.
it wasn't Rebels. It was Bad Batch. Bad Batch,
Bad Batch is
which
where
is
they get rid of all the
another
clones, but
great show.
but Rebels is worth the watch, especially for
God,
the
yeah.
final 4 episodes of the series alone.
Right? Anyway, yep.
Ron, you were going to say something.
Oh, so Finn shoots like he was a stormtrooper.
Yeah.
Like, for everybody else hitting things all the time, Finn's just like, they trained me in the academy. I've got this.
You're supposed
that
to
tracks.
close one eye. So I think we've talked. There's so many plot holes, or not even plot holes, just like functionality things that would not work. We've talked about the TIE fighters. We've talked about like all this different stuff. I think the one that is the craziest to me is the Sith dagger, where they go, okay, take this dagger, because let's talk about the logistics of this thing real quick here, because I want to voice what I think this is, and then you tell me if I'm right or wrong. This Sith dagger was created at some time in the past with the thought that we are going to have a little protractor that pulls out for an exact moment in the future that has not yet come to pass, for when a giant space station is destroyed and falls to the planet below it, and you stand in one specific spot looking at the wreckage, that protractor will tell you exactly where a Sith wayfinder is. Talk about the most useless thing in the world.
Talk about the most convenient thing in the world.
Yeah, I'm just like, this dagger makes no sense. It makes no sense.
When she first pulled that out of there, I thought there was going to be another one on the other side, and she was going to look through it like the Sword of Omens.
You have the power.
Be that was added after.
Like it had to
Wasn't
have been
this
made after.
Well, wasn't this the dagger that Luke found?
Yeah,
That was
after
the dagger that Ochi had.
Yeah, Luke was
but Luke
looking
had it.
for Ochi.
You're right, because he was trying to find the wayfinder. And you know what I thought was going to be interesting too is I thought that when Luke gives Rey the X-wing, I thought he was going to be like, "Oh, I already had the wayfinder the whole time here in the X-wing. Like, I just didn't want to go." I thought that would have been a way better way of this.
Would have saved us about 45 minutes in this movie.
Yeah, but I did like her going into the Death Star and the fight scene in there and stuff. I enjoyed that.
Yeah, but the fact that she uses the dagger, figures out where to go. Like, I mean, her holding it to find the right spot. Okay, fine, whatever. I just assumed because I haven't seen this since theaters. I thought she like held it up and immediately, oh, here we go. But then
but also like her whole
protractor, and it's like it's right there. How do you know you're on the outside? How do you know where that's at? You have no
like
idea.
that's the whole thing. Is like she lines it up a quarter of the fucking wreckage. Like, where are you?
And it fit perfectly in the wreckage. I'm like, what? You built this for wreckage? Like,
there's also multiple holes in it. Like multiple holes in the protractor part. Which one are you, like you just assume the middle?
Well, not only that, afterwards they're like, oh yeah, it's in Palpatine's quarters. Okay. And then the door still functions.
Yes, that too. And then also, like, Kylo Ren just shows up, and I'm like, wait, how the heck?
I mean, he knew where she was going, sure, but like, Jannah was watching when Poe crashed the Millennium Falcon. You're saying no one else saw Kylo fall in with his TIE fighter?
No, I thought
he had the stealth cloak on.
Yeah. Also, Kylo, his exposition in that moment before they fight made no sense either. He literally tells her, "You can't go back now." She hasn't done anything. She thought she killed Chewbacca, but she already knew at that moment she didn't kill Chewbacca. So what has she done? She's done nothing. She has tried to find the Emperor. That's all she has done at this point. What can't you go back about?
Well, see, that was probably a cut from a different script, and then they just forgot to take it out and change it. So
yeah, it just made no sense to me that like what he was saying. Although
either that or he was gaslighting her.
He might have been gaslighting her, but I like the fight with the water. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, no, like the fights between Rey and Kylo in this movie were awesome. One of my favorite parts is when they are on Kijimi and his ship is above and they're fighting, but they're like trading
not
places.
Together. Yeah,
it was like
was cool.
Really cool.
That also made no sense whatsoever, but it was cool.
But that's part of the dyad thing.
Yeah, but no, what irks me about their fights, and specifically Okay, the reverse grip slashing with the lightsabers is the dumbest thing because you can't fight with a lightsaber like that.
You mean
You have a
behind him?
Ahsoka could say otherwise.
okay.
But she also had
Ahsoka
training.
has
She had
two,
training.
and she has two lightsabers. Okay, when you have it reverse grip like this, you have completely cut off one side of your body from actually being able to be protected with a
Sure.
lightsaber. Ahsoka had two, and she usually had one in reverse grip and one in normal grip.
That's true.
Well,
Yes.
you forget that Kylo Ren is an edgelord. He doesn't care about function. He just wants to
Yeah,
look
but-
cool while doing it.
Ray did it too, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, Ray did, and that's what I'm saying. Like
Okay.
in their fight, Ray's like, "Oh, I've seen him do this. I'm gonna do it too," and she flips it around and then like does the like anime like run attack at him, and
Yeah, this movie was all just for aesthetics. Because I'll give him that. There were cool moments. There were some good set pieces. There were some good fight choreography. But like the story made no sense.
Yeah, like I mean,
This is
how did
this
Ray
is-
get there? Or how did not Ray? We know how Ray got. How did Kylo get there? Like, how did he know this is where he didn't read the dagger, did he?
dude, not only
He
that.
doesn't
So when
know
they
Sith
find
language.
the dagger and they take that ship, right, that's been sitting out in the desert for however long,
40 years. I mean,
Right.
not 20, but like
20.
48.
Because she's 20, so it's been there for at least 20 years.
and that, it
But-
just perfectly starts up.
Well, not only that, nobody scavenged that thing in all the time that it was out there. Do they not have Jawas on this planet, like,
No,
Yeah.
or something similar? Like, there's no way that thing didn't get fucking scrapped in the 20 years that it was sitting there.
correct.
Because it's not like it was hidden anywhere.
No, it's literally
That's
just sitting there.
Literally on top of a mountain, so everyone can see it.
Stupid, so stupid.
Okay.
So
Did
the,
anyone else understand what was going on with Leia? I feel like when she like goes and like dies to like talk to Ben, I'm like, what is
she put all
happening?
the rest of her life force into talking to him. She's dead.
Yeah, but what I was like, okay, so all you did was be like, oh, well, we did this with Luke, so we're gonna kind of do it with Leia, but like not the same. But it made no sense to me.
And this, love Carrie Fisher, love her portrayal as Leia.
This was terrible.
This was bad. Like I part of me wishes they would have like
Let her
either
die.
killed her off in the last movie versus killing her off in the very beginning of this one, like super beginning. Just I don't know, because her character, the CGI of putting her face on whomever was the body double
Look god
terrible.
awful.
All the dialogue was unused dialogue from Force Awakens, and it felt like they were just matching the script to that dialogue, and it because all of Rey and her dialogue in the very beginning meant nothing. Was Rey would ask her questions and Leia would say something, and she's like,
Never
Yeah, you're right. I'm
underestimate
gonna
a
do this.
droid.
yeah, like, which
Yeah,
I mean,
it-
she said before, it's fine, but like, it's just it didn't work for me. It was.
Mm-mm.
And then
You
yeah,
felt-
her dying, her feeling that this is the thing she has to do to stop Kylo one last time to get her son back. Why? Like what exactly?
I would have preferred. I like that Harrison Ford showed up and they had a little moment
Yes.
there. I thought that was cool, but I would have preferred that. Okay, if we had the moment from the beginning of Last Jedi, like we did here, where Kylo had to kill Leia to prove that he's on the dark side, and he actually does it this time. He's fulfilled. He no longer has any doubt in his mind, and Leia is the one who shows up after the fact as a Force ghost or a premonition or whatever you want to call it on the Death Star wreckage after Kylo gets his butt handed to him by Rey, and she's like, "Look, I know this is the path you think you have to walk, but it's not." And they have a moment together after he had killed her earlier in the movie, very beginning of the scene. I would have been good with that. And I feel like they still could have done it because they could have made her a Force ghost, which means you're kind of blurring the edges of CGI so that
And
you wouldn't have
It would have been
told
better. Yeah, it
you
would
wouldn't
have
have
worked.
told as much that she was like a motion capture, and you could have just had a little bit of dialogue there, and I feel like that would have worked way better. But I don't know.
Yeah.
Call me
Um,
JJ.
Also, I don't know how you guys felt, but Lando felt like just a cheap pop.
Yes,
Like there was no point in him popping up at all and finding out that what's her face is actually his kid because he's got Biblos in every system.
Allegedly. I mean, we're probably pretty sure. But
Either that or he was trying to fuck her. I don't know.
no, I think it was supposed to be inferred that Jana was his child.
Yeah.
You come here often?
Colt 45.
Billy D signed on to come back when the script was Duel of the Fates, and he had a bit of a bigger role. He was supposed to be like a trader of sorts on some planet, and again,
he was a traitor in the first trilogy.
No,
Trader with the D.
not traitor.
Oh, my bad,
funny,
my bad.
That would have been his original story arc because he was supposed to be Sondon from the holiday special, where he was a trader on Kashyyyk. Was what Lando's original character was supposed to be. Was like a trader on a alien planet. So that would have been cool to bring him full circle.
And don't quote me. I could be wrong on that. I don't remember exactly, but he was supposed to be somebody who was just like there. He wasn't going to be like involved until Ray and company show up and be like, "Hey, we need your help," and then he is able to pilot the Falcon again and comes back and helps. So he had signed on for that, and then when the script Duel of the Fates got tossed, I mean, he just kind of stuck, and they had to write him in there. Yeah, he definitely felt a little forced into this.
The only reason why he was there is because nostalgia. They're like, what if we throw one last little bit of nostalgia in here for you guys?
Which I was happy to see Wedge show up for like a quick
that
cameo.
was fun. Yeah.
I don't feel like we needed Lando for all this, although it would have been cool if Lando was like in charge of the hut stuff now. Like that would have been cool. Like
but then we'll have questions about where Boba Fett is.
Sure.
Especially after Boba Fett, Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah. So I don't know. I will say my second favorite part of this movie is when Rey hands Kylo the lightsaber when he's going to fight the lightsaber,
cool.
and he brings it over. But then the moment I love is just when he does the shrug, like come, I guess you got to fight me now.
Yeah.
It's like, that's cool.
Yeah.
No,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, some of the fight scenes were really great, and then some of it was just kind of meh. When she force heals the snake thing, in like when they're in the caves or whatever,
Yeah.
I every time I hear or see somebody force heal, I hear in my head, force healing, that's a thing, from the little short where like Anakin's got the gun and he shoots Obi-Wan. And Obi-Wan's like, "Oh, it's no big deal. I'll just force heal." He's like, "That's the whole reason I became a Sith."
I know, right?
Also, that kind of makes Qui-Gon's sacrifice mean literally nothing.
Since he could have force healed himself. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I don't know. But I do like the force heal, though. Like, that's a really cool power. I just wish it would have been... The bad thing is that we first see it in The Mandalorian the exact same week this hits theaters.
Mm-hmm.
Because
Was it really?
Yep, because Grogu used it on...
Well, I knew that.
Was it on Din?
It was on Mando.
Yeah.
It was on Din Djarin.
The Rhino, yes. And yeah, then like, which is like really cool power. And then we see it here, and Rey uses it twice. But she does explain that like it uses a bit of her life energy to heal. So she's basically taking years off her life, which I thought funny enough though, like when she force heals Kylo, she basically heals him to become Ben again. Like she heals him, she heals all that hate. And you see, and I didn't notice this the first time. I actually didn't notice it until this time. Or at least if I did, I don't remember. But she also heals that scar of his. Like the scar's gone after she force heals it.
Basically, I just thought that was lazy.
Nope. It's a quick scene when she's healing his scar here that she stabbed him with the lightsaber. Like he looks at her and you see it fade away on his face. It's a really quick scene, and I had to go back and rewatch it. But that also reiterates like Kylo's gone. Like this moment, Kylo's gone. Ben is back. And
do you think the reason that at the end Ben like heals her and he does the Jedi thing of like disappearing, do you think he didn't actually have force heal, but he was giving back the energy that she gave him? So like it was like she transferred force healed and he's like, I'm giving it back and I would have died there. And because I'm giving it back to you now, I'm going to die here.
Maybe. Although I also think that when they kiss, that she just sucked the rest of his energy out of him.
She was a Dementor.
Yeah, exactly.
Not the way he wanted to suck the energy out of him, but
Probably. I mean, I don't think the kiss was necessary.
No, me
However,
neither.
that was somewhat of a build up throughout all three
But
movies.
that's basically her cheating on Poe and Finn. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, but Finn or Poe was trying to get it with Zardy. Or
That's
Zordy.
true.
Poe-
With was that Carrie Russell?
That was Carrie
Mhm.
Russell. Yep.
You
Okay,
never see
like-
her face.
But you see
Right,
her
you see her
eyes,
eyes.
and that's enough.
Mhm. Yeah, I was gonna say, is Poe, Finn, and Ray just that couple from Parks and Rec that Aubrey Plaza is a part of at the very beginning, where it's the two gay guys and she's dating the one guy but not the other guy? I think it's that kind of throuple.
Maybe.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, I mean, okay, Finn and Poe are definitely like the real
Mhm.
connection in that. Yeah.
Yeah, because they sidelined Rose.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
No shit. Hardcore.
Yeah,
Holy
hardcore
shit.
storyline. Which, okay, so that brings me to this next question I had for you guys. They never tell you what Finn was going to tell her. Now, I know JJ has already told us in an interview, but at the time, what did you think Finn was going to tell her when you saw the movie originally?
That he had
That he was
powers.
gay with Poe.
That too. But no, he had force powers because the entire movie he keeps sensing Ray
Mm-hmm.
like different spots, different areas. So
Yeah,
it's
they.
like
I
he
feel
was
like
force sensitive.
they really wanted you to believe that he was going to be like, "I love you," but like, I'm like, you guys just aren't putting any effort into this at all.
No.
It's like the weakest effort ever.
And the fact that Poe keeps bringing it up multiple times. So what were you gonna tell Ray? What were you gonna say, Ray? Tell her.
That's because he was jealous
Do you
because
really
they're
think
lovers.
this is the time to say it when they're about ready to get shot? Like,
Yeah.
is there a better time?
Yeah. So anyway, I just was wondering if you guys had any hot takes on that, but yeah, I agree that I thought he was just going to be like, "I'm force sensitive," and it's like, cool, way to retcon that into all of this now too.
I mean,
Listen, in the
I
in the
feel like
Force Awakens,
that's been a thing.
yeah, it
It
makes
was like
sense
in the second one.
because, well, not only that, but like the whole reason he stopped being a
Mhm.
stormtrooper was because as
Sure.
he says here, he had a feeling
The
there was
only
something going on.
okay, so it's funny because superhero movies I actually give leniency towards on this, but in Star Wars, some reason I don't. In superhero movies, everyone ends up becoming a superhero. I mean, freaking Gwyneth Paltrow becomes a super, like everyone,
Yeah.
given enough time, they become a superhero. For some reason in Star Wars, I don't want everyone to be force sensitive. I don't like that.
You are
That's
because it
preaching
takes
to the
away their
fucking
individuality.
choir here, buddy. Like I'm very much like a why does everybody have to fucking have it? Like
But here's the thing:
because
I'm-
okay,
Yoda-
the Force is a religion, and them pushing their religion on other people makes them part of that religion, which makes that
We've
religion
learned
stronger.
The Force
Well,
is
now,
not a religion.
mm.
The Force is an actual thing that's out there, and people have made it into a religion. Just like if you want to look the
Exactly, but
universe,
look,
God,
but
whatever,
if you
and
see
then
if
religion-
you see a pilot, right, and his name's Han Solo, and he's the best, fastest pilot in the world, he even beat the fucking Superboy Anakin Skywalker in being able to fly and stuff, right? And he's not part of your religion. You ain't gonna fill seats in your church, okay, bud? All right.
I guess.
here's
So
the
he's
thing, though.
obviously got to be force sensitive.
Luke said in Last Jedi that like the Force is everywhere. Anybody can have it. It's just it was also the hubris
Church propaganda.
of the Jedi to think it was just for them.
Jesus is in all of us.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that has been said for some time. Like yes, I get the joke of the Jedi are saying it because they can, but it is everybody has the ability to get the Force. It's just a matter of training.
Midichlorian.
We saw
Yeah.
that in Ahsoka with Sabine. Like she has the ability. She has Force ability.
But she was also in the Jedi Academy before that.
No,
like-
she wasn't.
No, Sabine wasn't,
Sabine
but Sabine's being taught by an actual Jedi. And I
Yeah.
can believe that if you're being taught that like you could pull those Force abilities out. But Finn, literally not being taught by anyone, being kind of on the outskirts of this thing. Like I don't know. I felt like that was just another cheap. I'm like, we might as well just say everyone is dead.
Well, so in the first movie, I thought Finn was actually going to be like a Force user.
Mhm.
Like
They
I
want
thought
you to
that's how.
believe that.
Yeah, and that would have been kind of cool having more than one Force user to focus the story on, as opposed to like this is our savior, this is our bad guy. Being like, oh, what about this guy that used to be a stormtrooper, but now he's like just trying to bang Palpatine's granddaughter, and the general of the resistance, and
Yeah.
Okay, I got one more. I have one more note I'm going to say on mine, and then I'm pretty much done. But it's my final conclusion on this movie. And I just want to say, what I wrote down on this. I said what bothers me the most is that it wasn't so far off the mark it couldn't have been good. It's just that so many bad decisions were made in a row that it became unrecoverable in the story. So I'm like, there's nuggets there that could make it good, and that's what bothers me. And I said, maybe I'll feel this way about this movie in 20 years, how we feel about the prequels now, like where we were kind of really critical about the prequels, and then some time removed and some other story
According to my
elements.
scores, I was still pretty critical about the prequels.
Yeah, but we give them a lot more leniency. So I'm like, okay, maybe I'll feel different in like a decade. But right now, what bothers me the most is like the story could have been good. If you put time and effort into it and actually gave a crap, this could have been good.
I mean, that's true. Like,
yeah, no, the
it could have been better.
Terrible. Like, yeah, and I also agree with it. There's a lot of things in here that I did like. Ray jumping over Kylo's TIE fighter and cutting off.
Dude,
Ray
jumping over the wave as it crashes onto the fucking. That was badass.
When she is holding the transport ship, like I was getting Force Unleashed vibes. Like it was pretty awesome. In the tunnels, and this is all kind of jumping in the same area, but like in the tunnels, when Leia lights up the lightsaber and Poe turns on the flashlight, I freaking laughed.
That was
that was hilarious.
That was hilarious. Yeah, that was a good joke.
There's some really good stuff. The other thing when Poe gets named the general, which I don't know when Leia named him acting general, which is weird, but like he then promotes Finn
to co-general because they are partners. Yes, they are best friends that live together. Okay,
but that's a funny scene when they're funny. They're talking like general, and then they continue to talk. It's just out of the blue. Like there's a lot of good stuff in here, but it's weighed down by just the terrible story.
But let me ask you: so at this point now, you're okay with the level of jokes? Within the dialogue,
it was no, because these would have been on par with the small jokes that they had throughout the series, as opposed to trying to make everybody the comedic relief.
Yeah, Finn and Poe were always kind of like bantery funny. So all the moments with like Poe and Finn being comedic relief, I'm on board with that because that's how their characters have always been that way since.
It's kind of like Chewie and Han.
Here's my take on that, Chuck.
Yeah.
The first in Force Awakens, everybody having to say their joke was
forced.
Cumbersome. Was definitely like too much. But then by this movie, like we're used to it. Like this is our third movie with them. We have come to understand who these characters are.
Yeah.
So now for me, I am like, okay, so now I know who Poe is. I know Poe being the sarcastic one the entire time, like not actually caring enough until he has to.
Poe Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Sure, we'll go with that.
And Finn Baca and
and Ray Skywalker.
Ray Skywalker.
Exactly.
That one's canon.
Canon.
So Joe, explain it to me what it is. Why do you hate it?
Why do I hate this movie? The writing.
Wait, hold on.
Why do you hate Ray Skywalker?
Let's not get into that yet, because I still have notes.
Oh, okay. My apologies.
Sorry, Chuck. So when Palpatine unleashes his Force lightning, that is enough to knock out millions of ships at a time. Right?
Yeah.
And those ships are all within the planet of Exegol's atmosphere. Right?
Okay.
Because they couldn't leave the atmosphere. That was like the whole thing without the ship sending the signals from the radios or whatever.
Yeah, the ships are flying out as the rebellion ships are here to stop them.
So the whole time that's going on, and Rey is trying to commune with the Force ghost of every Jedi that was important in the last couple movies before this. Those ships are falling.
Jordan, can you name all of them?
All of them?
Can you name all of the voices?
I wrote down all the voices. Where did I put them? I wrote
Go,
them all
Ron.
down.
Sorry, let him look it up and then you go.
All right, but those ships are falling for like what, a good like 5 minutes while she decides whether she's gonna commune with Force ghosts and then get up off of her ass and then actually do something about it.
Yeah.
And none of them crashed into the planet.
They were
No,
high
because
enough
it
away.
wasn't actually that long. The timing issue when you are watching a movie where not everything is in real time. We're watching things slow down. We're watching things at like
Well,
a different pace.
Running
well
parallel.
established on the show, Joe hates it when things are not timed.
I do hate it when they give but that's the thing, they didn't give a time frame. If they say, hey, this bomb's gonna go off in 5 minutes, and I'm counting 5 minutes, and it goes off in 10, that's when I get upset.
I think my takeaway, Ron, from this is I've been watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z lately. So this just felt like the final form of like everything. Everyone's a fucking god at this point. At this point in the series. So like all of this just makes sense because I get to suspend disbelief of everything I've learned to this point of like how everything works. And it's just like, oh right, no, that's the super evil bad. She's the super good, and that's just how this happens, and everything's fixed.
Okay, that's fair. Did you find your list?
I did. I found my list. Okay,
go
so
ahead.
we hear Anakin.
Yep.
There's some random ones in here, but here's the normal ones. There's Anakin, there's Obi-Wan, there's Ahsoka, there's Kanan Jarrus from Rebels, there's Qui-Gon Jinn, there's Mace Windu, there's Yoda, there's Luke. Now here's the random ones. Luminari Unduli, which is the girl who's the orange face with the white on it, who I think is also Ahsoka's friend who gets framed.
No, it was her master.
Yes,
that was master. Yeah.
Yes. And then you have Isla Secure, who is the Twi'lek who gets murked in Order 66 that we see.
The whole reason she was put in
then,
the prequels because George Lucas liked her character.
Yes. And then Adi Gallia.
That's the one I don't know.
She was killed in Clone Wars by Savage Opress.
Oh, interesting.
There was an episode where she is fighting Savage and dies. I don't know why she's in this. I can see Isla Secura and Luminara Undoli, even though they're characters most people wouldn't know. I can see them, but yeah, Adi Gallia, I'm like, why?
I think they're little Easter eggs.
Kun?
I think if you've been watching all of the extra series, then these are fun little Easter eggs.
Yeah.
Yes.
The note on Obi-Wan is that we get both Ewan McGregor Obi-Wan and Alec Guinness Obi-Wan.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is pretty cool.
Because Alec Guinness saying Ray, which is kind of cool because you're like, that dude dead, and he said Ray.
Yeah. But yeah,
that's because at some point in time he was saying he was going to shut down the ray of the death or the
he said something. Yeah, they spliced
traction
it
ray.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's the tractor beam Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a couple more notes. One of them actually has to do with this movie. Another one was just kind of an epiphany that I had that I wanted to run by you guys. So Ewoks, right? Are Endor Wookiees. That's where they got the name for them.
Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Anyways, it hit my hand. But also, there is no way in hell that Poe let Rey take BB-8. He was in love with that droid. It had his fleshlight in it. There was no way that he was giving that droid away to her.
I mean, she didn't take him. She's going back to the Resistance or to the team. Like,
Yeah, I feel like she's just doing like a kind of she's going to pay her respects by putting the two lightsabers in.
Nah, she was definitely planning on living there.
I don't think so. I think she was going to go
so.
back to the Resistance because she has to start the Jedi like all over again, or whatever her version of that's going to be. She got to start training people.
So I do. Okay, I do want to answer your question, Chuck, that you asked me. But before we get there, I want to point out that you would think by this time, Palpatine would know not to use Force Lightning on a Jedi because that killed him twice. Well, it definitely hurt him twice by this point in time.
Yeah. Third time's a charm, man.
Yeah, I guess you could try it. So we brought up all of the Star Destroyers on Exegol. There are a total of 1,080. Now, Here's my question.
1 kill
They-
or 1,080 kills?
Well, we're getting there, and I've got a distinction on that. Because they have a signal to have them launch so they know how to get out. Okay, so when that signal goes out, we then get all of the ships destroying them, and then we see all the ships falling down. Now, here is my question: are the ships falling down because they were shot down, or are they falling down because the signal is lost? I believe it's because they were shot down.
They were definitely shot down because it shows them going through and shooting the underbelly guns and blowing the ships up.
Correct.
And the
Because
signal was just
the signal
was just so they could get out.
Correct.
Yeah, the signal was just so they could get out of the atmosphere because it had like magnetic fields and whatever, and storms and shit that they couldn't see through, and their stuff wouldn't work on it.
Okay.
Yeah, the signal didn't stop them from functioning. It just stopped them from leaving.
Okay. Good to know.
Again, I was leaning into the idea that he's a god, and so my takeaway of it.
Oh, I'm not a god, dude. I just look this good.
Anyway.
Thanks, though.
Yeah, no. That were just like demon ships. That was like we had talked about like where all these people came from and stuff. And in my brain, I guess the narrative I was telling myself was, oh yeah, this is just magic. These are all piloted by magic. Like we already established in like the third one that the Sith know how to bring people back. I think that's the whole thing is the Sith are connected to reality and like physical existence. That's why they have machines that keep them alive as long as possible, and they can't cross over. And the Jedi are all about the spirit realm, and they're constantly ghosts, and and the human form is only the first form, and we move on, and we can keep coming back, and all this stuff. So there was a part of me that was just like, oh no, he's just a guy who just resurrected all these things. It never dawned on me, I guess, that like these had been built. Like I just assumed they were coming out of the wreckage, and this was just because otherwise, like Jordan, I'm curious on your feelings on a planet killer being attached to Star Destroyers.
Yeah. I mean, so you have 1,080 ships, all with a planet killer on each one. How many planets are we saying out there? Could these things wipe out the galaxy and like
Basically,
2
yeah.
days?
Well, my question is though, is the Death Star, according to Rogue One, was using the Kyber crystals,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're telling me they found enough Kyber crystals to outfit every single one of these ships with that same?
I think
Go ahead, because I think you're going to say the same thing I was going to say.
Well, I don't actually know. I was going to give my theory. So if you know, Joe, go ahead.
Well, I mean, so Starkiller Base was an old Jedi planet that housed Kyber crystals. They hollowed that out to make Starkiller Base. So they would have potentially a shit ton of Kyber crystals.
Well, I also thought that they weren't using Kyber crystals anymore because if you watch, so when the Death Star shoots its laser, it hits the planet, it explodes into 1 billion pieces. When the Star Destroyer uses its cannon, it's more like in the Star Trek J.J. Abrams thing where it hits a hole and then that kind of creates a ripple that breaks the world apart. It doesn't shatter it into 1 million pieces. So it's really what it's doing is it's almost like antimatter burning into the core and then having the planet implode on itself and breaking it into 1 million pieces. Kind of like if an asteroid were to hit a planet and it break it into 1 million pieces, like similar to that. It's just blunt force getting into the core of the world. That's what I thought, but I don't have anything to back that up just because it looks different on how it imploded.
That's fair.
Okay. Is that all you've got, Ron?
Yep, that was all my notes.
Okay.
So now answer Chuck's question.
To answer your question,
What was my question?
Rey Skywalker. I don't.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I feel like the way that they are setting it up feels like it wasn't earned because she literally is asked, "Who are you?" "Oh, I'm Rey." "Rey who?" She looks over, sees Luke and Leia. Skywalker. Like, if she had seen a freaking Tauntaun, she could have been Rey Tauntaun. Like,
So can
Now,
I?
that's
with
that's the way that they are. That's the way I interpret it. Now, that being said, the journey she went on, her naming herself Skywalker, is saying that
She's the most dramatic person in the galaxy yet.
That too. I'm rejecting my past for a new future. So yes, I do like that. My problem with this scene, though, is that her going to Tatooine means nothing. She has no value, no reason to go to Tatooine. Oh, I'm going to take the 2 lightsabers, one that was my master's, which was destroyed in the last movie. We never got any explanation how she fixed it. And my other master, Leia, and I'm going to bury her in the sand because that's what I should do. No, you have 2 lightsabers.
Well, and,
What are you
okay,
doing?
so she took
to do something with them.
she took Luke's back there because that's where Luke was from, and she tried to take Leia's back to where Leia was from, but
Didn't
I
quite
feel like
work
that's
out.
missing somewhere.
I agree that I don't understand why she took them back to Tatooine. That felt like that was for us, not
It
for
was.
Rey.
It was definitely for the fans. It wasn't for her.
Yes, but that's what I mean.
Well,
like, we shouldn't
okay.
exist in the narrative, but for some
Agreed.
reason we do now.
So if I can rebuttal, so
Please,
just a little bit, and I'm going to try to be sensible about this as possible. I think the theory of her burying them in Tatooine is like, I don't have the physical bodies. These represent the bodies, and I'm going to put them in a burial place where like it all kind of started for them. Because ultimately, right, like even though Leia wasn't there, she would want to be buried with her brother because there's nobody else to bury.
the only time Leia was ever on Tatooine was when she was trying to get Han back and was made a slave by Jabba the Hutt.
No, she
Sure.
was on Tatooine and Obi-Wan too for a minute, wasn't she?
Oh, that's right, when she was a little kid. No,
Yeah.
did
No,
they?
that wasn't
Did she
Tatooine.
never make it?
Yeah, that wasn't on Tatooine. That was a different
Oh, you're
planet.
right. Yeah, you're right.
But
Ha,
Regardless.
fucking nerd. Oh, sorry.
But
anyway,
my one take is, would those lasers not become essentially like relics at that
Correct.
point because of what they represent and stand for? They're essentially the books. You know what I mean? There's a higher level of thing. I can understand your frustration about the Skywalker like name and she looking over, but I think the whole thing is that like Luke, Leia kind of became her parents in
yes.
this.
Again, she's choosing her family versus what her family actually is. She's rejecting her
Right.
past to have the family that she, I don't say that she wants, but the family that actually like looked after her.
Or the family
Yeah,
that she
and
earned her, like fought
Earned,
for.
yeah, earned is the best
Right.
better term. Yes,
and like very legitimately, like I was having a conversation with one of my trans friends who was like, that was actually a really impactful moment that I think a lot of people miss, was like
they
she
overlook,
was becoming this new person. She had become this new person, and this is like her developing her new identity. Now, I know a lot of people were mad that she was calling herself Skywalker and it wasn't earned and all those things, but I also can't help but go, man, I don't know. I don't think I want to go Rey Palpatine, because Palpatine is the equivalent of like fucking Hitler in this galaxy.
Exactly. Yes,
And everybody's going to lose their fucking shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
agree. No, I agree with that. Yeah,
because
God damn it,
nobody
Star
knows-
Wars is part of the woke agenda.
You know,
Oh.
I would have
Well,
loved to believe that the writers actually had the thought in mind that they were talking to the trans community about choosing who you are in that writing, but I just don't believe. I love it. Let's
I
adopt
don't
that.
either.
Let's adopt
And
that. But
they
I don't
did-
believe
they
those
didn't
writers
either.
for a second had that
Yeah.
thought in their mind when they were doing it. I
No,
wish they
and,
would have. It would have been.
my friend didn't think that either, but that was like on the I was like, there is something.
But it
that
doesn't matter
we
what they
can
think;
take
it's what
from this.
it's what the people think that watched it that's important.
Sure,
So
and you're
if
right.
that movie
adopt
made
it.
you feel, yeah, exactly, take it in, take it for everything that's worth.
Let's
Fucking
make it.
rewrite it. Listen, we said it on this show, therefore it's canon.
Boom.
you've got
That's
points.
true. Joey, how's your
You're
feeling
welcome.
about the
You're
fan
welcome,
base
trans
around
community.
this?
Wait, how am I feeling about what?
How's your feeling about the fan base around this? And their response.
Star Wars fan base is toxic. I know this one dude.
Yeah, Star Wars fan base sucks. It's like I love to be a part of it and hate to be a part of it all at the same time. I'm part of the problem because I know I'm like crapping on this movie here with you guys about a lot of things, and I think the things I'm bringing up, like I tried to say, they had good ideas, they had good moments. It just was executed extremely poorly.
It was poorly written, and that's nothing against. That's not us shitting on. Like that specifically goes for the people that put it together, not
That's me saying go read or listen to
Mhm.
Duel of the Fates
And
and see
I'm
what
not
could have
saying
been.
I'm not saying either that because like when Ghostbusters, the all lady Ghostbusters came out, and they're like, "You're ruining Ghostbusters." I'm like,
I
the movies
enjoyed
you
that
like
one.
still exist.
I thought that one
And
was actually pretty good, but
well, I'm
Yeah,
not saying
you're
it's
right-
bad
you're
or
right
good.
though,
I'm just
Jordan.
saying when people are like, "Oh, this movie sucks so bad that now I can't enjoy any of the movies I liked before." Okay, well, that's a you problem.
yeah, 100%.
Ron and I had a friend who would literally do that for anything. It's like, oh, this is ruining my childhood. But he never actually went and saw the movies. He read it on Wikipedia.
Oh yeah,
And it's like,
not
this
like
is
there
ruining my childhood. I'm not watching that.
Yeah, it's not like
Okay,
there was
cool, don't then.
a podcast created for the idea of wrecking your childhood or anything, So
Well.
Uh,
So if you guys go and buy $150 worth of merchandise,
They'll
Jordan will
bring the
back-
show back for 10 episodes.
bring it
Yeah.
back. 10 episodes only.
wait, hear me out. There are 4 of us right here, right?
No, one person has to buy one individual. Oh, you mean
No, what I was going to say
okay.
was that if he needed to bring the show back,
I mean, look.
I mean, it's obvious that Joe would be Joe, but then who would be Cam and who would be Krager of the other two?
ah, shit.
Ooh.
Krager. I got different Krager.
You know I'm Krager. Like, I don't understand what the question is. I also
bad
felt
thing
it was
is-
very parent. You know what I mean? Like, fucking.
I'm not good looking enough to be Joe, so that's the problem.
I
am bald,
Have
though,
beards
at
and
this
bald, yeah. So I mean,
Oh, he have a beard now?
yeah,
I haven't
I think
seen him
so.
in a hot minute, so.
I have.
Last time I
think I've.
talked to him or Kreger, I'm like, hey, you guys want to come on the show? No. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
I know. They're doing their own.
They're
life.
living their life. It's fine. I get
I
it.
can't even get them to commit to playing video games with me once a week.
Oh,
So.
sadness.
What's influencing on Leia and Luke flashback?
Mm.
The training or whatever?
Yeah. I feel like we didn't need to see it. It looked eh.
Dude, the whole reason they had the stupid ass helmets on was just so that they could hide the CG face.
Yeah, and I still feel like
It was still garbage.
it's the uncanny valley idea of it all is still like I don't know why we're using this so much.
They
It's
could have done
visual.
shots from behind the head without ever seeing their faces and done better.
Sure.
Because the haircut,
I feel
like
we could've
Luke's-
just had the exposition and didn't need the visual,
that's
in
true.
my opinion.
That is also true.
But hey, it was cool seeing Leia like doing Jedi stuff.
Yeah.
The only other
Okay.
note I have here is when they go to the ground for the like the land charge. What were those animals, and where did they get them from?
The horses? The horse things. They got
They
them
came-
from the water planet or the water moon of Endor, because that's what Jana was riding when they first showed up.
Yeah.
Mhm. So they're just native to that planet.
Yeah.
So how'd they get there?
The
transport-
transport ship.
Yeah. They flew back there,
Oh.
picked them all up in the transport ships to fly them to Exegol.
That's another thing that I don't understand about this is how quickly everybody is traveling now.
Convenient.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
the plot hyperdrive.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes you 12 hours to get somewhere. Sometimes it takes 12 minutes. Just depends on how fast they want you to take. I feel like legitimately that's like airlines though too. I'm like, how come on this cross country trip took me like 4.5 hours and then one time it took me 6 hours? I'm like,
Well, see, the one
There's
time you're
something
going
going
with the wind, and the other time you're going against the wind.
Daylight savings time or the
daylight
time
yeah,
zones.
the time
zones.
change, all
Yeah.
of that. Yeah, how
Because I
much
know
fuel-
when we
yeah.
go to Chicago, we gain an hour, but when we come back, we lose. Like it's 3 hours to get to Chicago, but 6 hours to get back.
That's about right.
They both feel like 3 hours. It's so weird.
I know it's odd. Actually, they both feel like 4 hours, but that's besides the point.
Anyway,
All
that's
right,
all
so
my notes.
my last note. I have written down here. Poe took out like 10 cannons on the Dreadnought in an X-wing. Why can't they fire on the command ship again? Like so, the relay went from being on the planet of Exegol to the command ship, and somebody makes mention, oh well, we can't fire on the command ship. Why?
Yeah.
Why can't you just go attack the command ship and take out?
Because the command ship had plot armor until Finn decided to shoot it with its own cannons.
I'm just
I think it's.
Because they wanted to show us the goddamn jetpack stormtroopers,
I
okay?
think they
So
mentioned.
they had that
I think
before.
they mentioned something. I think about like if we destroy the ship, they'll just move the signal to another ship. So they need to take the signal out, but that doesn't make sense either. Because then wouldn't they just if the signal goes out, wouldn't they just move the signal to another
look,
ship?
if-
then too?
If Serenity taught us anything, it's that you can't stop the signal, okay?
Yeah, very true.
That's
Mr.
true.
Universe out there.
Oh, Mr. Universe. All right. But that's
Talking about a
really.
sex doll.
Is that? Let me double check.
It's a sex robot, okay? It was his wife. She had a ring.
Respectable.
Kill
Yeah,
count?
I think that is kind of all my notes. Going over real quick. Oh, I got some notes in here about how they know they first hear about Exegol, but then they see C-3PO talks about it being a legend. I don't know. Yeah, so that's really it. All right, so with my kill count, including all the Star Destroyers, I've got a total of 1,205.
Okay.
Finally, somebody that beat out Batman.
I was gonna say that's a pretty high kill count for
I mean,
me.
Yeah, it only took an entire war.
We also
would,
have.
I mean, I would also make the argument that it's actually only two, one for each hand of lightning that came off. But
It wasn't lightning that did it though, because
yeah, but that's what started it.
no, the lightning.
The lightning hit the
was
rebel ship.
shocking the rebel. The
I just want to
resistance
make you
ship.
sad, Joey. I'm trying to
Um,
make you sad.
Regardless, if I take away all the ships, and actually, if I just count all the ships that were counted, that's like 10 that we actually see get destroyed. So it's actually like 135, but I like the 1,200.
Yeah, I mean it's sure legit.
We also see Kylo cut off a guy's arm in the very beginning, and we see Bolo's head, the one spy, the actual spy, or secret agent, I should say, that gave the information to Finn and Poe. We see his head cut off. So
Yeah, mini Davy Jones.
yeah, that's the Davy Jones.
His face reminded me of like a squid face kind of
Oh,
like Davy
okay.
Jones.
Also, that was voiced by Mark Hamill, by the way. So,
I thought the voice sounded familiar.
so yeah, that's my lost limb count. And okay, so Jordan, who has a bad feeling?
Lando Calrissian had a bad feeling about the unprotected sex he had all over the galaxy. No, about
I don't think he had a bad feeling about that.
Oh, he did. It was called the clap. Oh.
Ron, real quick about Lando. You don't want to make any kind of pondering about Lando specifically.
Do what?
He makes a very strange comment. Oh
About Jenna?
no, it's when
Are you talking about giving his love to Leia?
Yeah,
That's because he already gave his love to Leia.
Yeah, I mean, it had to have happened. Han
The-
was in Carbonite.
see-
We were on a break.
What? See what they don't tell you is that Finn is force sensitive because his mom had to find somewhere to hide him.
there it is.
Well,
All right.
well, that tracks why he's attracted to Rey then. All in the family.
Wait,
Alright,
wouldn't he
so-
be more attracted to Ben then?
Well, Ben tried to kill him. So, Ron, bingo.
So we had dead parents because we did get to see that.
Yes, we did.
Government interference, comic logic, ID reveal to friends, which is when they found out that she was a Palpatine.
Yeah.
Origin reveal, also. Inability to control powers, unexplainable science, hero kills, reformed bad guy, fight for control of something in meme origins.
Lots of meme origins in this one.
Boo count.
We stopped doing that.
0.
How do you feel about that, Ron? How do you feel about no boobs movie?
You know, I expected it because
kids.
it was a Star Wars story. But when we start getting back into things that aren't Star Wars, we're in the 90s now, so we're not going to see boobs anyways. So
Yeah.
That's true. They'll show us but they won't show us the front. Timeless truth.
that's true. We might have to start doing a butt count for the 90s movies.
Mm. Mm.
Okay.
Oh my God, we're documenting when we became as a country, when we went from boob men to ass men as a country.
Yeah, it was the movies.
Not wrong.
You, Sir McLeod, take that, buddy.
Chuck, Spawn Cape.
I mean, look, the deep fakes are not great, but I think everything else was fine. Let's have a little bit of a weird secondary lens-ish stuff occasionally. They kind of being blurred out to hide some stuff. I think of like I really felt it when they were in the Rey and Palpatine, and like it's just really cloudy and mystical and smoky, and it's just like the thousands of cultists all on the walls, and I'm like, man, this looks like a Zack Snyder clip. All right,
How are they feeding? How are they feeding all those people?
With,
again, I
Force
think they're
Workers,
just
huh?
I think they're just deep things. I think it's the whole thing. I mean, I would actually, part of me that would love the idea that they weren't even really there. They were like all created by Palpatine to like convince her more.
Very specifically, nobody else could see them except for Palpatine, and it just made him feel better to have a crowd
Oh, no,
watching
Rey
him do
saw
stuff. No, Ray just looked around. She didn't necessarily see them.
Nah, she saw him because she heard
They
them
do
chanting.
disappear by the end of it, so
Well, yeah, they get crushed by rocks.
I'm just saying they do technically disappear.
But it's still one kill.
Yeah. Palpatine dying and all of the alkalites being crushed is all one kill because that was Rey used the Force lightning to shoot back at him.
Yep.
And it blew up the whole.
Anyway, so what was our spawn cape?
I mean, whatever. It doesn't look great even for now. So I'm gonna say, they gotta be close together. So, I mean, that, which is sad. This didn't look good when it came out. You know what I mean? All kind of looked like shit when it came out.
Yeah.
What, 4 years ago?
5 years ago. Yeah.
5 years ago.
2019.
That was a lot of concussions. I'm gonna say 14 out of 36.
Okay.
36.
That works. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh, alrighty. Now, moment of truth. Jordan, what do you give this out of 10?
I'm going to go straight down the fairway with this one. There's some moments I liked, overall didn't like. It's still Star Wars, 5.01.
Ooh.
Okay.
I will
Hey,
rewatch
Chuck.
this sometimes, mostly just moments, but yeah.
Did you see what Jordan did there by adding a second decimal?
I did not. I had 3 the other day.
True.
That was making up for all the times you didn't use any of them.
Yeah.
I use these decimals. What are you talking about?
Anyways, Chuck, what do you give
started
this?
using, no, fuck you! I started using decimals before anybody else did.
He actually, well, never mind. Anyway.
So I wrote down on what my score was, which is a 5.327, and here's why. I didn't think that this was as bad as everybody thought it was. I agree that the story doesn't make a lot of sense. It does feel rushed, but at the same time, I just kind of sat back and went, man, I've watched 9 of these things.
12 technically.
12 of these things.
13
And
if you count the
if there's
Halloween
one
special.
constant in the fucking
14
Star
if you
Wars
count both
movie,
Clone
We'll
Wars.
get anyway.
if you count all the, if like the one consistent thing is that it never makes sense. Star Wars inherently doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And when I went in with my expectations so low that I actually just kind of sat back and just enjoyed the movie for what it was. And I was, you know what? I'd still rather watch this over Attack of the Clones like a billion times. I don't, maybe it's because I haven't seen it so much, but I enjoyed it more than I did episode 6, which says a lot because I guess maybe at least the scenes were cool. I'm still fucking pissed that the Knights of Ren don't do shit in this movie.
They were meaningless.
They should have done something. That's who Kylo fights, right? Those aren't
Yeah.
like Palpatine.
Yeah, those Knights of
cards.
Ren.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
because Rey fights the Palpatine guys.
Right. I just wasn't sure it was just the same vibe. Like I would have loved a story that explains like why they're pissed at you know what I mean? Like make that fight mean something. Tell us, fucking grab an arm, tell a story. Don't just have it happen for having it happen.
Yeah.
I need like I don't know. Thing is, like, we'll probably get a bunch of story down the line. You know what I mean? Of like, we'll get a B series, the Knights of Ren doing shit and make
Maybe.
them feel good.
Like we got
And
comics of Kylo becoming a Ren, like or Ben becoming Kylo Ren.
Yeah, and
terrifying.
maybe it's it. Is like we have so much material to make the first 6 feel good and fill in stuff. And be like, hey, this exists, happens. Because like here's this whole series like that actually explains it now and retcons and makes up for all stuff, and it's just too early for us to have it. Plus I think Disney also is probably fucking scared now, man.
Why they haven't done the movie
fan
since
base
19?
shit on this so fucking hard that they made them scared to release anything that happens in this era.
Yeah,
which is
again,
unfortunate.
thankfully they're finally moving on. They're making sequels. They're with the Rey movie and the sequel trilogy. Like they're finally going to be continuing the story. It sucks that it took them, so long to finally move on. Like don't get me wrong, I love the Clone Wars, Rebels, Bad Batch, Mando to an extent, Ahsoka. Like Acolyte I really did enjoy Acolyte, even though allegedly fans didn't.
I haven't seen the whole thing yet. I only watched a couple episodes, and it's just it's mid, like so far. I've seen the first 2 episodes, and it's just kind of meh.
Sure.
Joey, would you feel that you are mad at the fan base for ruining Acolyte?
I mean, a little.
Okay.
I mean, honestly, I am because of they didn't like a female Jedi. Literally, that's the whole reason.
Yeah.
Which is why Rey got.
Yeah, we don't have any of those in this yet, so you know what I mean. It's like it's too new and different.
Anyway, Ron, what you got for a score?
This was not my favorite. One might say of the canonical movies that we've watched, this is in fact my least favorite. There were good parts in it. There were some interesting things. There were some fun things. But overall, like it was just kind of. I mean, the only one that like I liked as little as this one would have probably been Solo, because I didn't really like Solo either, and it was just like, well, there was nothing. I had nothing in Solo because I knew that Han was going to live. I knew that Chewie was going to live. I knew that Lando was going to live. So it just, and this one was kind of more along the lines of like, half the time you don't even know what the fuck's going on or why it's going on, and since Palpatine can come back from, a charred wreckage in space, he's going to come back from being reduced to cinders and, fucking force lightning. Like,
maybe
yeah, exactly. We don't know. But I gave this a 2.92.
Okay.
Oh, holy crap! Wasn't expecting that. All right.
That's a torpedo.
Okay. It took me 4 hours to watch this, guys.
Because to be fair, this is a 5-hour limit, but
it's gone with the wind.
You had Big Chuck plus 10 of the night, huh? Skip around to fun.
But like I would stop doing things. Like I said, I had to go buy beer just to get through it, and I drank beer to get through this podcast. But no, but like, and then I kept stopping in the middle of it. I stopped to do my fucking dishes in the middle of it.
Ooh.
Like,
Jordan, you haven't heard the episode yet, but we established in holiday special Big Chuck's plus 10 of the night, which allows me to skip ahead a bunch because I can't stand what I'm watching. Yep.
So, Joey, what you got for us?
I have stated in the past that this was my lowest Star Wars movie. I hated this when I watched the first time. I saw it in theaters 3 times because I'm like, well, maybe the first time was a fluke. And so I watched it again. I'm like, no, this isn't whatever. But then I watched it in IMAX because, Yeah, I had an opportunity. So so I watched it in theaters a couple times, and I'm like, no, like I did not like the story. Yes, there are good moments. Yes, we talked about them in here, and I still like these moments. We did bring up Ray's lightsaber at the end, and that is wicked. It's really awesome. And we brought up all the other stuff. Seeing Han Solo was a nice surprise. Wasn't expecting that. There was a few moments that I did chuckle at, and there was a few moments where were just really cool fight scenes. But that opening dialogue with Rey and Leia, like that drug on for me. I believe, and Ron says that he kept on stopping and doing things. I did the same thing. There was a moment about an hour in where I hit pause and I went upstairs and I was just hanging out with my girlfriend and our kid for like 30 minutes because I just didn't want to keep watching this movie. The movie, I don't want to say drug on for me, but definitely forced me to be like, and maybe because I'm just too analytical about it, but it was just forcing me to sit back and be like, no, while there is some good in here, there's a lot of bad. And I was trying to find the good, and we do make fun of stuff in this podcast. It's something we've done since the beginning. But they were just laying up, shots to be made fun of for this thing, and it was kind of annoying. That being said, though, because this movie is like I said at the beginning, it's a movie of convenience, and that is also annoying. It is a Star Wars movie, and I mean, I haven't seen it since theaters, and I don't know the next time I'll watch it again. It'll be a minute, but looking at the scores, I gave it the highest out of all of you guys with a 5.96.
God damn you! All right.
There are moments I enjoyed. The movie is still not great, but there are moments I enjoyed. That being said, with that score, we have a combined score of 4.8, which I should probably look at where it drops in at. Drops it in at number 84 out of 127. So below middle. Whew, okay.
I mean,
Actually, it's just behind Attack the Clones at 4.85. Nice.
How does that make you feel, Chuck?
You disappointed me, Joseph. You disappointed me.
Well,
I tried, Chuck. I tried to make it worse, but
I appreciate it. Now, Ken, I have my own video for the episode. I actually wrote down 25 things.
Okay.
To see if you guys, I almost had a board fill. I won't lie. Fortunately, Jordan and Ron let me down here a little bit.
Yeah.
But the ones that we did get, right? Ron says that Lando fucked Leia.
I said that before, though. I said that in Return.
Yeah, but it was specifically in this episode we were going.
Gotcha.
Jordan tries to name all the guy. That one. Some of these I didn't have to set up. Joe complains about the Finn and Rose drop. Someone says Ghost Luke can't do that. Someone wishes Finn and Poe were gay. Ron, you drunk? Are you?
We what?
Are you drunk?
No. I'm close.
Didn't get Ron's drunk on. I was expecting.
Oh, that's why you're back. Okay.
Someone questions the spy arc, which we did. Someone thinks Rey's a written character. We got that one. Someone thinks Chewie should have died. I think we're all in agreement here.
Mm-hmm.
Joe refers to the novelizations or comic. My free space, which I lost, which was I scored it higher than you two. Both Jordan and Joe. Actually, somebody and someone says that the flashback Luke and Leia looked bad. Joe complains about the ending. Someone complains about C-3PO.
Hey, yeah.
Joe gets mad at the fan base. Like, I had to put it myself. Joe gets mad at the Skywalker name.
But I did not get mad at Skywalker name. I said it's it. Okay, maybe I did get mad at Skywalker name.
You got a little.
Okay, fine. But I did actually say that I was okay with it.
Okay. Someone points out that Finn or Poe is fuckable. I believe somebody did finally point it out.
Yeah, probably.
I think it was you, Chuck.
I'm looking for somebody to agree with me, so I did circle it, but I'm willing to give that. Jordan says that the Star Destroyers wouldn't have planet up to them. Again, I had to lob that one on.
I understand your notes now.
Yep. And someone says the plot doesn't make sense. So
all of us said that.
That was right at the beginning.
The ones that we didn't get, shockingly enough, Jordan makes a joke that nobody left it. You were funny tonight. I don't know what to tell you.
Yes.
damn.
Awesome. I love it when I'm funny.
But I laugh at your joke. It's the other two that usually don't. Someone makes a Lord of the Rings comment. I was expecting somebody.
He did.
I did.
Oh,
Sauron.
did we?
The Eye of Sauron.
Yeah.
I literally said the Eye of
yeah,
Sauron.
that's right. Oh, hey, that wasn't the one I was aiming for, but we get that one. Excellent.
Hey.
Excellent.
I made a Lord of the Rings reference too because Mary was in it.
With Miri. Yeah, that's true too.
Oh, see, I wasn't sure. I think I had walked away at that point to blow my nose. I wasn't sure if that's who we were talking about. No one said I hate all the jokes. Ron is not mad about no boobs.
It's a Star Wars movie.
I know, but I figured he still wasn't upset about it.
Listen, I would have still looked at Leia's saggy tits without a bra on. I'm just saying, but like
that's true. And then lastly, no one actually pointed out the thing about the horses on the land raid doesn't make any fucking sense. Where did they come from?
Yeah,
I was
makes
just
sense.
That's because we all knew where they came from. That's because we knew where they came from, Chuck.
Yeah, we watched the movie.
Yeah, we defended that one.
Yeah, I just didn't get it. Also, yeah, I was not expecting you guys to defend the jerkiness of this. I was like, oh, people are fucking, because I was like last movie, I was like, it was fine.
Okay, see, there was too much of it in the previous two.
I agree. I think
Like,
there was a lot in this one too, personally.
But the ones in this one were not as like they were more spread out. They weren't like here's a campy joke with a campy joke with a campy joke with a campy joke.
It wasn't a serious moment and then joke, and then a serious moment.
Right.
It was yeah.
Anyway,
right.
I did get a bingo though. I did get a bingo.
Oh, good for you. I kind of like that. That might be.
I'm the board wipe. I really thought I was gonna get. I was like, man, I could probably get all of them on this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, so I think I stated it back in like Attack of the Clones when we covered that, but I was making a separate Star Wars rankings for everybody. So I have them. So let's go ahead and break those down here. So
I know mine.
Yeah, well, you have the list too. If you want to say yours when it gets to your part, you totally can. So for Jordan here, your number one movie was Rogue One with a 9.4, followed by Last Jedi at a 9.21. Then it goes Empire Strikes Back at an 8.98. A New Hope with an 8. Nope, sorry, Force Awakens at an 8.12. Then A New Hope at 8. Then we have Solo at a 7.7. Return of the Jedi at a 7.62. Revenge of the Sith at a 7.05.
I'd probably rate that higher now.
Well, too bad. Clone Wars at a 6.1. Attack the Clones at a 6. The Phantom Menace at a 5.5. And your lowest one is Rise of Skywalker at a 5.01.
Perfect.
That's pretty impressive that your lowest one on this list is like higher than
most.
I rate high. I rate kind of high.
All right. Chuck, moving on to you.
Yeah.
You're number one. Surprising nobody.
Better be Rogue One.
Rogue One with a 9.98.
Yeah.
Followed by Empire Strikes Back with a 9.1. Next up is A New Hope at a 7.98.
Really?
We got Solo at a 7.43. The Force Awakens at a 7.2. Revenge of the Sith at a 6.3. Then we go to The Last Jedi at a 6.1. Rise of Skywalker at a 5.327. Asshole. And then Phantom Menace at a 4.2. And then we shoot down to Clone Wars with a 1.82. No, sorry, Attack of the Clones at a 1.9. And Clone Wars is your lowest at a 1.82.
Goodness.
All right. I actually won't lie, scored a lot higher than I probably should have, but that's interesting.
I just read what we scored.
No, I know. Listen. This is what happens when I just look at everything in a vacuum and don't actually compare it to other
That's fair.
movies.
I mean, I always have them written down if you ever want to ask.
No,
Always have.
like I don't. When I start trying to I understand the concept of okay, did I like it better than this or that? But I feel like a movie should just be judged on the thing that I have seen in front of me and not compare it to other movies.
Okay, I can get that, but this being a saga, that's kind of why. I mean, comparing them makes sense in my eyes, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just how I've always scored things. It's
Sure.
I in a vacuum, I look at this thing, what do I feel it deserves to score? A lot of the time it's oh wow, I didn't like it much, but also
Sure.
I usually just put a number on them, but it's fine.
All right. Ron, you want me to read yours off or you got it?
So my number 1 is A New Hope at 8.75. My number 2 is Empire Strikes Back at 7.69.
Nice.
My number 3 is Return of the Jedi at 6.32. I have a tie for 4th place between Episode 1 and Episode 3 at a 5.8. My number 6 then is Episode 7, which is the Force Awakens,
Yep.
at a 5.54. Then we go down to
The
the
one
last
you can
one,
never
Last Jedi.
freaking remember.
The Last Jedi, I remembered, at a 4.85. Then we have, for number 8, we have both the Clone Wars and then the Attack of the Clones at a 4.5.
I got Clone Wars at a 3.
Oh, see, I thought that was for the. I don't remember which one. I had 2 different scores because we had the score for the show, and then we had a score for the
Hold on, I'm double
movie.
checking. Clone Wars movie at 3. Yeah, and then we had the other scores were you had actually had a 4.5. Oh, yeah, you did have 4.5. Yeah, you had Clone Wars the movie at 3.
Okay, well then the Clone Wars show and which other one I say?
Attack the Clones.
And Attack the Clones were both at a 4.5. We have Rogue One at 4.22. Then we have Solo at 3.23. We have the Clone Wars movie at 3.0. Then we have Episode 9 at 2.98 or 2.92. And then the last and lowest one on my list, because I put it on here, is the holiday special at 0.04.
Yeah, but Jordan was on for that one, so
that's true.
That does
You didn't miss much, but
yeah,
it was hot garbage.
I tried to defend it as much as I can.
Joey, what you got?
So,
we lost Chuck.
I think he had to go put his mom to bed, because we're already sitting at almost 2 hours, so I expect this to be a long recording.
Yeah. Quick, we're in a race to the finish line.
Trying to finish it up here. So for my rankings, my number 1 is Revenge of the Sith at an 8.7, followed by a tie between Rogue One and Last Jedi at 8.52. That's interesting. A New Hope is at 8.51. Next up is Force Awakens at an 8.45. Return of the Jedi at an 8.15. Then we go to Solo at a 7.25. The Phantom Menace at a 7.1. Attack the Clones at a 7. Then we got Rise of Skywalker at a 5.96. And my lowest one is Clone Wars at a 4.6. So, that being said, our combined Star Wars movies score. Starting at the bottom, we got Clone Wars, which we gave a 3.88. That's number 12. Number 11 is The Rise of Skywalker at a 4.8. Number 10, Attack the Clones at a 4.85. Phantom Menace comes in at number 9 with a 5.65. Solo is number 8 at a 6.4. Return of the Jedi goes to number 7 at a 6.8. Revenge of the Sith is a 6th spot at a 7.08. Last Jedi squeaks in number 5 with a 7.17. Number 4 spot is The Force Awakens with a 7.33. Our number 3 is Rogue One with an 8.03. Number 2 is A New Hope at an 8.31, which leaves Empire Strikes Back as our definitive number 1 with an 8.51.
Yeah,
Sounds
the
about
sky
right.
is blue, the grass is green. Like the fucking big surprise, you know.
My number one and 2 were number 2 and 1, so I can
kind
handle
of
that.
expected Rogue One to be up there though, like number
Yeah.
1 or number 2 at least.
Sorry,
But
guys.
we had
Yeah,
one.
exactly. But
Ah,
yeah, so
Like I said, Rogue One, I just didn't have anything in because I knew everybody dies,
no, and that's fair. It's totally fair.
and I already know they succeed. So like,
Yeah, we found
Right,
out at the
George, where
beginning
can
of
they
the
it's
find
not
you?
the destination; it's the journey you're on.
thanks, Ron Glass. That's
You know,
Shepard Book.
Firefly
That's a reference to Firefly.
We actually did. That's the second because we had the reference to Sarah.
Summer Glau.
Don't know.
Oh, third then because we had the reference to
Boom.
Serenity earlier. So.
No.
Oh, that's right. I did for Mr. Universe. No. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Universe.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll
No.
watch this movie
Anywho.
at some point.
Jordan, where can they find you at, bud?
BSN Craft Beer on Instagram. Hey, Chuck.
Yeah.
You can go next. Where can they find you?
You can find me on our Patreon, patreon.com/professional casual, where your Patreon exclusive content is all over there at the 301. That's the tier that directly helps us. So please sign up for that one specifically so we can actually get paid. It would be sweet. But we have Joe and I have a show called Getting Franchised. We review the latest and greatest franchise of what we want. Season 1 is all horror movies.
Mhm.
We have at time of release done 2. We've done Hellraiser,
Yep, that was in
the
November.
original, and the remake for Hulu in 2022.
Correct.
And spoilers, one is objectively on the other. And of course, we have Child's Play.
Yeah, that
1988.
coming out in a week. In
Oh,
theory,
so
it
go
should be
watch
coming
it.
out in a week.
Go watch. It's probably now that Halloween is over. I would assume that they're probably all up on Tubi for free. So
Probably.
go check out Child's Play 1988 and then watch 2019
Mm-hmm.
Child's Play, voiced by Mark Hamill. So,
Yeah.
which I, to this day, spoilers, still can't make that sound like Mark Hamill. So,
Yeah.
Ronald.
You can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Good at This Game. You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game, and you can find me right here where this great podcast is sold. Joey.
I'm on social media, Comic Book Rundown. Look it up. I'm on Twitter, sadly. Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky. Just
Oh yeah, I'm on Blue Sky now too. I just didn't do anything with it yet,
that's fine.
other than make sure I got my name.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's everybody's going to Blue Sky, everybody's leaving Twitter. I don't know why, but going to Blue Sky. But I have stuff over there. Email us comicrundown@gmail.com. Rate and review us on your podcasting app of choice. If you do, we'll read it on an upcoming episode. Rate and review on social media. We'll totally read it.
Hell yeah, we will.
We've got merch over at Redbubble and TeePublic with new merch coming periodically.
Sorry.
And I said periodically, it's fine. And our song was done by Just Cam. He's Just Cam
No
now.
more Dr. Father.
Nope.
He is the king formerly known as Dr. Father,
Yeah.
is what we have determined. Yes.
I just like saying Just Cam, so that you have to say that.
Yeah.
All right.
Notorious CAM.
So that being said, our next movie, which should probably say before we say that, hope everybody has a really good Christmas because this is coming out just for Christmas. Enjoy your holiday, I guess. But our next movie will be the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special
Oh no.
over on Disney Plus.
George Holiday, I guess.
What is
Or fucking
Everything.
whatever. Oh,
That hit me so hard. Yeah.
we,
Holiday
broke,
over.
we broke everybody. All right. So Lego Holiday Special coming up.
Yeah, came out in 2020.
Which will be objectively our highest score movie, I guarantee it.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Because I did enjoy that one when I watched it, but I also haven't seen it since it came out. So
I mean, it should score low. It is an animated movie for me, but
the Lego stuff is fun.
I know. Like the thing is, like I'm gonna have no expectation, and I'm gonna be laughing my ass off the entire time. I already know it. So
anyway, thank you all for
can't be
listening.
anything worse. Than the fucking thing made us watch last week. So
yeah, exactly.
Word.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you for sticking out this long. This is definitely our longest episode. I expected it to be a long episode because I had 2 pages of notes, and we actually got through all of them, which is really surprising.
Wow.
We all seem to hate it for the same reasons. Anywho,
Except for Chuck, he loved it.
Chuck did like it. Chuck was trying to get his own bingo.
You know what?
Now just say goodbye. Now just say goodbye.
It was perfectly fine.
Perfectly fine. All right,
Goodbye, I guess.
we will catch you next time.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo.
That's all you got? Cool.
That was Palpatine.
Oh,
could Palpatine sing the